As you said, Pascal, we began our meeting by celebrating Croatian entry into the euro area. It is well, we often use the historic term, but it is an historic milestone. I think we should always remember that some 30 years ago, Croatia was a country at war. And now they entered in the Union, and since 1st of January, they share the single currency and they enter the Schengen area. So how good, a good news for Croatia and for the EU. On the economic outlook, of course, we continue to expect a challenging year as the effects of the Russian aggression continue to reverberate across our economy. This said, there have been some encouraging developments. You know that growth in the third quarter was better than expected, that gas prices have fallen below pre-war levels, that the inflation rate declined markedly in December, with headline inflation appearing to have peaked. This is not the case for core inflation. And labor markets continue to show strength. And also the economic sentiment that we measure began to recover. So taken together, these developments may herald a shallower than expected contraction for this winter. At the same time, the expectation remains one of subdued growth for the rest of the year. The war is clouding the outlook, and while high storage levels and lower demand have helped to bring energy prices down, the crisis is certainly not over. Interesting to note that that exchange we had today with the IMF also showed a broad convergence of this view of the economic outlook among us. It is crystal clear, in my view, that this economic outlook is also policy dependent. Not always is dependent from our decisions, but a lot is dependent from our decision. So a well-coordinated and ambitious response can make the difference. This means, firstly, shifting to more targeted and efficient fiscal support measures to deal with the energy prices and phasing them out gradually as soon as possible. Not easy, as we all know, but essential if we are to avoid the risk of further fueling inflation and further complicating the already difficult task faced by the ECB. And I think there is a window of opportunity now in the coming weeks because prices are down and because in several countries measures are expiring in the first quarter of this year. Of course, we should intervene, remaining very attentive to the social consequences of the decision that we take. Second, this means pursuing reforms and investments, RRF, Next Generation EU, and especially the reduction of dependence on fossil fuels through Repower EU. Third, it means achieving a swift agreement on the reform of the economic governance. Today, as Pascal said, we had a discussion on the euro area aspects of this reform, which of course concern the EU as a whole, and will be taken forward primarily in the ECOFIN. Not only markets and investors, but also our citizens expect us to deliver on this commitment, and I'm confident that we'll do so. And lastly, this means taking decisive steps to safeguard European competitiveness, streamlining our state aid rules, while avoiding fragmentation in the single market, including through the establishment of a European Sovereignty Fund, as called for by President von der Leyen. Finally, as the President of the Eurogroup said, We discussed the digital euro. You saw the statement. And let me only recall on this that the Commission intends to present a legislative proposal on the digital euro in May this year. And in the meantime, our services will continue to work closely with the ECB to support its work in this investigation phase. Thank you. Now the floor is to Pierre.